All right, welcome back to Film Shake. This is a 90s movie podcast. I'm Jordan.
And this is Nick.
And today's episode, we're here to review The Chase from 1994. We're going to talk about movies from 94, plus a 94-themed trivia battle at the end.
Oh, yeah.
And I did mention this is episode 8, so we're, knee-deep, ankle-deep in the 90s now. We've done a Point Break episode. This is our second 90s
So many
film.
waves hit us in that episode.
Oh, yes. Oh,
I feel
nice.
drenched in the 90s.
And now we're getting back into some waves because you're back here to report about Point Break, the remake, on our Fallen Warrior review. So you lost trivia last time, and we decided whoever lost that round would have to deign themselves to watch the 2015 remake of Point Break. So give it to me. What
You weren't
got?
really serious about me watching that, right?
Yeah, I was. You better watch that.
All right.
You did. I know you did.
Give
'cause you
me
told
2
it was
hours. I
terrible.
will be right back. Man.
Give it to me straight. Come on.
Okay, so generally, whenever a movie is known for its charisma between the leads and, singular style of its director...
You mean like the original Point Break?
Exactly. You don't want to touch that. You kind of want to leave that there. If it's maybe just the story is this basic thing that you can remake over and over and over again, okay, go there. But if it's just, wow, those two guys that you had in the lead, they're not the greatest actors, but they have this energy that's just so unique and just not common that only they have. And we put it together, and it was lightning in a bottle, and it was incredible. And then we got this director that went on to win an Oscar for another movie, not this one, for The Hurt Locker, which isn't, well, it actually does have some things in common with this movie. But you know what? That's not really something you should duplicate, but you know what?
They did it anyway.
They said, let's get a crew member from Fast and the Furious to direct this movie again.
Oh, was it just a crew member?
It was.
It wasn't even the director.
It wasn't even the director.
It was
That's
like
right.
the first assistant director or something.
It was Erickson Cole.
Never heard of him.
Our boy Erickson Cole comes on the scene here, and the producers decided, the basic theme of Point Break, it was crazy, right? Really kind of silly.
Extreme sports.
Yeah. But it made sense, right? In the logic of the movie, infiltrating a gang of surfers to solve a series of bank robberies makes sense in the logic of Point Break.
At least in the 90s.
In the 90s. But let's not do that this time. It's 2015 now. Mm-hmm. We're going to have a presidential election in a year and a really tumultuous 2016 overall.
Right.
Let's just make a totally incomprehensible, really serious plot that's completely joyless instead.
It's a mark of the times.
That's right. So I'm not really sure what was going on here. So we have the Bodie character, who was Patrick Swayze in the original, who, is the surfer / bank robber who's just robbing banks just so he can surf and do extreme sports.
/ demigod.
That's right. He's just doing it for a spiritual experience. And in this movie, we get Edgar Ramirez as Bodie, who he's been okay in some other things. I mean, he's actually won some awards for some other roles.
What else was he in?
You're asking me this as if I just know it offhand.
You do. You said he's been okay in some other stuff.
I can't think of the things.
Right. He's been in some things.
What do you think I am, IMDb, the person?
The man and the mystery.
That's right.
Yes.
And he's in this movie with a guy called Luke Bracey. Mm-hmm. So Luke Bracey is an Australian actor. And, when you think of Aussies, there's kind of a stereotype. You kind of think of the wild Aussie, surfing onto the scene. Good day, mate. Sing.
Right.
But instead, they told him, hey, make sure that you don't talk in your Australian accent. We want it to sound like you've got to poop, but you're holding it as hard as you can while trying to speak in an American accent.
Take the skin off of chicken, sir.
Exactly.
Is that how he talks?
That's exactly how he talks for 2 full hours. So he's like, yeah, I'm into surfing.
Maybe that's him trying to put on like the surfer bro accent, though.
Well, here's the deal. So he's
really
Johnny,
bad at it. He's Johnny Utah, right?
Yeah,
this is the guy.
Yeah, so he's not an ex-football player here. He's just an ex extreme sports guy who, in a page from Cliffhanger, another classic film back from around the Point Break days, his best buddy dies in an extreme sports accident at the beginning of the film, and it just scars him for life. He is done with the extreme sports.
Dang.
So, with Johnny Utah, Keanu Reeves in the original, it's a physical injury that grounds him, and makes him even more of a square than he was before. I'm an FBI agent.
Right.
But with Luke Bracey's Utah, it's more of a psychic injury, right? Because these are modern times now.
Oh, yes, 2015.
It's just more of
got to go deep.
That's right, a psychological injury, which just makes him a completely joyless automaton who is
75% Utah.
That's right.
You're not so great after all.
I'd give him maybe 20%. And the thing is, like, this guy might be fine in other stuff. I haven't seen any of the other credits.
Not familiar with the actor.
I'm not familiar with him at all. So, but being forced to speak in this accent and this role, all of the Reeves charisma is just gone, and the Bodhi charisma. A lot of that came from Swayze, but you also kind of knew what he wanted to do, right? Mm-hmm. So in this movie, there's I'm not even going to look down at my notes to double check on the number, but there's something called an Ozuno, let's just say 8. I believe it was 8 events that Bodhi in this film is trying to accomplish. They're extreme events involving nature, like I'm going to climb this gigantic cliff by a waterfall barehanded without any ropes or cables.
Yeah.
And be one with nature. There are 8 events like this that are really extreme that he wants to complete. Mm-hmm. But then there's also something else about and I'll rob some rich people and throw money down from this location or something. But it's never like spelled out, and he only does it for a few of the events.
Yeah,
it doesn't really make any sense. There's not really a lot of logic.
There's no like plot to like. There's no point to him robbing. Like, there's no, like, espionage.
Yeah, because eventually there is a robbery late in the movie. Mm-hmm. It's, like, kind of tacked on.
Are they robbing banks, or what are they robbing?
Yeah, he robs a bank on the top of a mountain where the female character...
Does he climb up the mountain to the bank? Like, that's a part of the extreme sport?
No, they just cut to the bank. And they even touted, like, there's only one bank open a day, and it's on the top of a mountain, right? So you're like, oh, sweet. Like, all the regular banks were closed. Just the mountaintop bank is
just
open.
Just the mountain bank is open.
So you're all psyched that this is going to be the
bank
awesomest
open
thing.
On Sunday.
But it's just like on a regular hilly street,
What?
And we just this boring. We don't even see the bank robbery.
What?
We just see outside the bank when he's coming out, and there's just this joyless shootout.
Do they wear the mask, the Reagan mask, or anything?
No, not really. There's just like black SWAT. I mean, everything is like character free and joyless. So they're just in like black SWAT team suits.
Come on, why even do it?
Yeah, and yeah. And I don't even
that's all we have to say right there is why even make this movie.
Yeah, and I mean, you have the awesome Tyler character, the female character from the original who is just this
Lori
Petty, my big early 90s crush. She's just this awesome badass character who really teaches Keanu how to surf, and it's just super cool. And in this movie, you get Teresa Palmer, who is just marginalized the whole movie. She has nothing to do. There's even a point where the guys get to do a really cool stunt, and when they get back to base camp, there's like a little tiny rock that's like 20 feet tall, and she's climbing it and waves to everyone like, hey, I got to climb today too.
Oh, I'm a sports girl too.
And it's like, why wasn't she just a part of their group? Why not just make her a part of their group? Because spoiler alert, she actually was a part of their criminal group the whole time.
Oh, snap.
Which is supposed to be a twist later whenever, even bigger spoiler, Johnny shoots her.
Oh.
Whenever he's stopping the heist.
Does he kill her?
He kills her
Oh,
dead.
snap.
Yeah. So
sorry, guys.
Which sends him in an even bigger spiral of depression and darkness, because this entire
Psyche
film
damage.
Yes, it's shot with the like the blandest, grayest, yellowest. It's like it's shot through the skin of a corpse, this entire movie. So it's even bleaker and darker before it comes to its puttering conclusion.
Oh no.
And the bummer of it is, well, really this is a cool thing. So there's 2 really awesome parts in this movie. There's 2 great stunts. They're actually really well shot, even though they're filtered, so there's not a lot of color to them.
Yeah.
But
you can at least see through the corpse.
That's right. You can see through the corpse that there's an awesome
skin.
Yeah, there are 2 surfing scenes in the entire film, because it's not surf centric like the other one.
Right.
The other one being the awesome original we talked about last episode.
So she's got all the extreme sports they can get packed in this movie, I'm guessing. Like what are the extreme sports they get into?
Oh, well, I'll get to the best one. I'll say the best for last. So they do have a little bit of surfing. At the end, it's like a CGI, like they carp the ending of the original, but they don't earn it. Mm-hmm. So you've got Bodhi getting crushed by a CGI wave at the end.
But
there is a real surfing scene about a third of the way through the film that's incredible. It was, I think, somewhere in Tahiti that they filmed this giant wave, and they got a camera on the surfer, and it's just an incredible stunt. The camera work is insane. It's a great stunt. You can YouTube that. Don't need to watch the movie.
Don't watch the movie. Just watch that.
And then there's an even more incredible stunt where I believe they're in the Alps and they're wearing these flying squirrel suits.
Oh, I saw that in the trailer.
Yeah.
That did look pretty cool.
Oh, so they really did this.
Yeah.
And they were touting it as like, this is the most dangerous, most incredible movie stunt of all time.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
It looks like
it might actually be. Because it's not like quick cut to hell like a Michael Bay movie.
Yeah. Did they have like GoPros on the guys as they're flying and stuff?
Yeah, and then cool. Like someone else, I don't know, like a drone or something. There's like it's like a 7-minute action scene of them jumping off this gigantic mountain and then gliding down through these hills and almost hitting trees and rocks.
Are they like running from anybody? Is there any like tension building here? Or
no,
are they just going on sports
it's just the
runs?
thrill of it. Just take it as like the skydiving scene from the original, but missing like the really coolness of like Keanu and Patrick Swayze like
clasping hands
exactly
in midair.
Yeah, and the tension of
actually
knowing
having
like
charisma.
Yeah, and then knowing like, oh well, they know who each other, they know who they are at this point. Like something's about to happen. But in this one, no, it's just an insane stunt. That's awesome, and you can YouTube it too. And you never have to watch this movie because it's loud. I don't know why it exists. Someone thought we could make some money, and they actually did.
They probably did. Yeah.
More than their budget back. So mission accomplished. Well,
Mission Possible.
Yeah, I'm sure. Mission Possible. I'm sure we'll get a remake of The Chase at some point.
Oh, I don't know, man. That would be interesting if we did nowadays. Yeah. 2020, Charlie Sheen comes back for Chase 2.
Chase 2.
And Kristy Swanson gets off Twitter and gets in the movie once more.
Chase again.
Chase again. All right, well, thanks for watching that so I didn't have to.
Yeah.
I'm glad that...
So my new goal in life is to never lose a trivia
never
again.
Lose
that was
again.
Awful.
Yes, so like I said, stick around for the 1994 themed trivia battle at the end to see if Nick will lose once more, which is inevitable.
I'm on the longest losing bender ever. It was
gotta get your game up, man.
We have the Joker bonus episode posted, which wasn't the Joker episode is not obviously revolving around a 90s movie because we periodically go to see a movie of today and give our opinion on it.
Right.
And we were supposed to write Batman questions. I completely forgot. And then I touted my Batman knowledge. And then I just bombed to the point where I couldn't think of any questions. And then I mixed up my Batman movies. And then I still somehow lost on top of that.
On top of all that, though, you did all right coming up on the fly, like you did with some questions. I don't know if I would have been able to do that. So props to you for that.
I got an A, B, and C for half of the 4 questions I asked you. I think I got an A and a B for the other 2, maybe.
Yeah, I think I cut you off at the last one. Didn't let you finish. Because it's like, obviously, you're just making this up.
I think the Maker Faire was going to have to shoo us out the door with a broom by that point.
Yeah, we were trying to get out of there. But anyway.
I'm going to win this time. I'm going to break the 40-year streak.
Well, so before we get into the chase, I wanted to just talk about 1994 in film. I've been watching a lot of 90s movies. Obviously, that's kind of our job nowadays, just to get into the 90s and know all about it and relive some of these great films. But just looking at some of the films that were made in 94 is pretty astounding. I went back and rewatched Speed, which was from the same year as The Chase, and that was just a whole lot of fun. Definitely need to do that for an episode coming up, so I won't really talk much about that. But
just it's in that Point Break vein of it's got some ridiculous cheesiness, but it's so awesome.
But it's so good. It's so well made. Yeah, it fits this mold that we're going for really well. Just the good/bad movie, because it's got both of that. It's got really fun stunts. It's a whole lot of fun. But then the dialogue especially can be really cheesy. Really over the top and ridiculous, but that's just the 90s for you. It's an action film. What more do you want?
But like the special edition remake of Return of the Jedi, Darth Vader, good wins.
That's right. That's right. Good wins out.
Since we're only doing 90s, that's the only version that exists.
That's the only version. Well, I wanted to talk about the highest grossing films of 94. Just real quick. I thought it was interesting. So you got, like the top 5, Lion King.
Oh, I thought that was just a new movie that came out this year.
No, there was an original. You
no
didn't know
way.
that? There was
no way.
like we didn't watch the VHS growing up.
Disney wouldn't remake that.
Oh, that is a remake. Shucks. No. So you had The Lion King #1, #2 Forrest Gump, #3 True Lies, #4 The Mask, and #5 Speed. So yeah, Speed was up there. The Chase was not on the highest grossing films of that year, so shocker. But I thought it was interesting, when was the last time? So you got Forrest Gump that was one of the highest grossing films of the year, but also was Best Picture winner that year too. So looking at the Oscar winners that year, I was thinking, nowadays it seems like we're pretty far away from that reality of like a high, like the highest grossing film, like this really popular film that made a ton of money that everybody was into, also was, really prestigious at the Oscars. So, I'm thinking about like Moonlight or La La Land or some of these other films, like they were kind of indie darlings that got, a lot of acclaim and ended up winning a lot of awards, but they didn't really make a whole lot of money. I want to say Moonlight was made for like, I don't know, under $5 million, maybe not even $3 million, and didn't make a lot of money, but it ends up being, Best Picture winner a few years back. So it just made me curious, or just
hand sanitizer
just kind of remarking on the times, that the 90s were. It's like, oh, you had these really like big budget, high grossing films, but they were also like what critics were really going after and loving too. And I don't know if that's just a difference of the times or a difference of the critics.
2004 Return of the King won Best Picture, if I remember correctly.
It's probably up there with in the highest grossing films of that year as well.
I think it was the highest grosser.
It was like #1. Okay. Yeah, so not too long ago, but in recent times, like I can't really think of another. Maybe our listeners could, and I'm totally off. You could send us some feedback at filmshakepodcast@gmail.com.
Tell Jordan how wrong
Tell
he
me
is.
how wrong I
don't
am.
have to now. I'm just going to lay off and back up from the mic.
But no, yeah, it was a different time back then is all I'm saying.
Make my dirty hand sanitizer jokes.
Yeah, but he also had like Flintstones, which was terrible, but #6 from the year.
That's a bad one. That's like a you lost trivia. Go watch Flintstones.
That might give me some ideas now.
Yeah, and this is like a transition year for me because I became a teenager in 1994. So, I was too cool for a movie like Flintstones, but I would still get stuck having to watch it.
Yeah. I remember being forced to watch it like in my brother's room on VHS with the family. We'd all sit around, and back when you'd go to Blockbuster and one person would pick out the one movie for the family, and if you didn't go to the Blockbuster, like if you got to go or you got off your couch and weren't, you were the one that actually got up and went, and you were the one that could pick the movie for the family. And if you weren't there, then like you got stuck watching whatever
stay home.
Mom wanted to watch, or brother wanted to watch them.
Yeah, I saw some of the best unexpected gems, like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. My mom just picked up on a whim on VHS, nice. But there's probably some stinkers in there too.
See, I always remember that coming on TV a whole lot. And
you got to watch that.
I've seen parts of it, but like Steve Martin, like growing up, never attracted me a whole lot. And even to be honest, like John Candy, like his stuff, like outside of, like he was in Home Alone, right?
All right, get out of here right now.
Get out. I mean, like
you
Steve Martin,
damn millennial.
John Candy. I don't know.
Out of here.
They just never piqued my interest growing up. So I probably should go back and rewatch a lot of those. But
that movie on TV versus that movie on not a VHS
like a DVD.
Anymore.
I've got the DVD. Yeah.
Watch the DVD.
Okay.
There's a scene where Steve Martin has the best use of profanity in cinematic history.
Really?
There's nothing that I know of that stands even close to it. It's awesome.
Okay.
And John Candy, if I'm gonna say he's a continental treasure.
He was in Home Alone though.
Yes,
right?
he was in Home Alone, Jordan.
Okay. All right. I mean, I love that movie. Come on.
He's in so much good stuff, man.
Yeah.
Great Outdoors.
But like Uncle Buck, like I don't know, maybe it was just the oversaturation of both of those actors. I was just kind of like, oh, I'm tired of these guys. I don't want to watch another one of these movies with them. I don't know what it was, but it didn't hit me.
You missed it.
I missed it. Sorry. I was too busy watching Keanu in Speed like over and over.
Man, I think John Candy was dead by this point.
Probably so.
Google.
Well, let's get into The Chase. So this is from '94, starring Charlie Sheen, Kristy Swanson, Henry Rollins, is in this. Anthony Kiedis and Flea from the Chili Peppers. So that was our movie connection from Point Break. We had Anthony Kiedis had a cameo in Point Break. And so we're going to try and connect each 90s movie that we're talking about. So we had Kiedis in Point Break. We've got Kiedis in The Chase. We've also got Flea. And to me, that might be the best part of the movie. Like, these guys are having it up so bad, just completely ridiculous. They're driving a monster truck. What's going on? Your face is exploding.
Okay, so you were brilliant to make the connection to get us to this film, and that's insane. But I just have to say, so I have the laptop here. I try not to use it when we're talking, so it's not a distraction. The Chase came out March 4th, 1994. I just made that crack about John Candy, who, again, I love. One of my favorite actors of all time, and you were dissing him. And I said I bet he was dead by this point.
Did he die like on the day this was released?
March 4th, 1994.
Whoa.
What?
Wow. That's
How did
strange.
you do that? You did this
I did
somehow.
not magic. Yeah,
you killed John Candy.
Well, I'll talk about...
You millennial bastard.
I'll talk about the director of this moment in a minute, because apparently he might have killed a porn star. But
Whoa.
Yes.
Oh, I have a lot to say about porn with this movie, actually.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, but let's go.
Well, let's go. Yeah, that's so weird about John Candy. I was not planning on that. And I mean, I love John Candy. I didn't mean to diss him.
Oh, I know.
I
I'm
just wanted to
ripping you.
say, like, that particular movie and some, like, Uncle Buck and some other ones, like, were always on rotation. I just kind of got tired of those guys and wanted to move on. You know, it's like you go through, like, okay, I'm cycled through this actor, now let me move on to somebody else. So I don't know, that's all it was. But yeah, I should go back and rewatch those. But anyway, so we've got cast and crew wanted to talk about with The Chase. So it was directed by Adam Rifkin. He also directed Detroit Rock City in '99. Did you ever see that?
Did that have like Ashton Kutcher in it or something?
Did it?
I don't know. I did not see that. I remember the posters for that being really wacky, and
they were, and they're like cartoony.
Yeah,
It was like a bunch of kids go to a Kiss concert, so it's like their road trip to a Kiss concert, and you know, of course, their parents are like, you know, oh, Kiss is the devil, Knights in Satan service. So that's that whole thing. So I guess it's like set in the 70s when Kiss was a big deal, right?
That's right. That's right, you damn millennial.
You damn millennial bastard. No, I remember that being good. I remember, you know, might be time for a rewatch for that one. I remember that one being fun, at least. He also was a writer. Rifkin was a writer for Small Soldiers in '98. But this is where I want to talk about him. He actually also went by an alias for some of his films. And you know that's never good.
No.
So he went by Riff Coogan. So instead of Adam Rifkin, he went by Riff Coogan.
Whoa.
And so here's two movies that I found that he directed as Riff Coogan. So one would be The Invisible Maniac, or sometimes called The Invisible Sex Maniac, because if you look at the poster for this movie, there's a half-naked porn star on the cover dressed up as a professor. So that'd give you an idea of where this movie's going to go.
Gotcha.
But the premise is an invisible scientist escapes from an asylum and teaches high school physics to nubile teens.
Wow.
And
Riff Coogan.
Riff Coogan. So apparently this was the first role for Shannon Wilsey, who later became a porn star known as Savannah.
Shannon Tweed? Oh, okay.
Savannah. Well, she became a porn star named Savannah. But this film left her so mortified that she exclusively went on to make adult entertainment films, struggled with drug addiction, and ultimately committed suicide in '94.
And there's a Zayo song about her. Zayo, who's one of my favorite metal bands of all time. They have an album. I always mispronounce it, but it's one of my favorite albums of all time. Liberate Te Inference. It's about the 9 Circles of Hell. It's incredible. And there's a song called Savannah. It's the second track. It's about her.
So you knew of this actress?
Yes, and
beforehand?
it's a very empathetic song.
Oh.
It's incredible. One of my favorite songs. So, wow, this movie is just blowing my mind with the connections.
And just
the Chase is connected to everything.
Just the implication that this guy made such a terrible movie that she felt so bad about her performance in it that she then ultimately committed suicide. I mean, what?
This is insane.
That's crazy.
And there's, I mean, this movie itself. All right, so Ron Jeremy plays a cameraman in this movie.
Right.
Which I saw him for a split second and was like, no way.
No,
but it was him.
Yeah.
And then
his name is Ron.
That's
too.
right. And then the banter in this movie. So I guess we should get. Do you want to get into the plot yet? Do you
Well,
have some more crazy facts?
I wanted to talk about some more. Just one more crazy
so
fact.
I'm going to throw the porn line into the water. I'm going to let the cork bob, and you go while that bobs out there in the waves.
Well, also by Riff Coogan would be Psycho Cop Returns.
Sounds good.
So he's not the director, even the first Psycho Cop. He's the director of Psycho Cop Returns.
And it could be at any point. The third, fourth, fifth point.
Yeah. Yes, this is a psychopathic cop decides to kill everyone who he thinks has broken the law. Like you should watch this movie. I think if you lose trivia, you should pick one of these movies to watch. So,
if I can find it,
yeah.
Man, I got to beat you. I don't want to watch that. That sounds terrible. I mean, I have some bad choices in mind for you, but not in that
Which
league.
would you go with? Like out of those two, which of the Riff Coogan movies would you want to get into?
I mean, the Psycho Cop one. I feel like I have to watch that one.
Yeah, it'd probably be up your alley, and at least for Horror Week here.
Yeah, that's
as
right.
we record shortly before Halloween.
Yes.
But yeah, one of his personal quotes was, an Adam Rifkin movie is really a movie that I think of as a career movie, like The Chase. But Riff Coogan movies are more for fun, my own personal edification, and for practice. Which is...
What kind of life is this guy living? Like, can you imagine, like, just having that much currency in life to just be able to screw around and make stupid movies like that?
Either that, or he's just totally BSing, and he's like, just needed a quick buck, and he decided to take on the psychopathic cop returns movie.
And on his brilliant career of making films like The Chase, which grossed $7.9 million at the box office,
right.
He's got enough agency to do those things.
Yeah. No, I think he's totally BS. All right, well, yeah, let's get into the plot of this movie. You want to give us a rundown for The Chase?
Yeah,
or just pick up where you were thinking earlier.
So Charlie Sheen's at a gas station.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. He's looking at the Butterfingers.
I want to talk about these Butterfingers, too.
That's right. So Kristy Swanson's there. And
yeah, just hanging out.
Yeah, just hanging out, being Kristy Swanson. I'm saying Kirsty because I just watched Hellraiser 2. I'm sorry. Kristy Swanson.
Kristy.
I wish it was Kirsty. So
we can call her Kirsty.
Let's just say old Charlie's, he's wanted.
Yep.
He's wanted by the authorities, and the authorities come on in.
He's on the run for being an escaped convict because he was framed. He's a clown. But he was framed by another bank robbing clown. So
never trust a clown.
Never trust the red nosed robber.
They can't catch a break. They're either psychopathic, supernatural, evil demon beings, or they're framing bank robbers.
Yeah, or non bank robbers.
Yeah, that's right. Or just innocent but getting framed. So it's like even if you're one of the good ones, you're still getting screwed.
Framing innocent clowns who now have to be on the run from the police. So yeah, how long this guy Charlie Sheen? He's in the gas station for quite a while. I mean, the gas station attendant who's trying to make change for like his pack of smokes. He's trying to break open the quarters.
Yeah, so visibly perturbed and really wanting to get out of there. Yes. Charlie Sheen is like, I don't even want my change anymore. Just let me get out of here.
I swear the kid punches like 50 buttons on the cash register, just like hoping one of them will work. Like it takes him 5 minutes to ring him up, and I think that's all just so the cops can come in and be like, "Oh, you're the guy."
That's right. And Charlie Sheen knows they're going to come. He knows the longer he's at this gas station, which, by the way, this is like the most, hey, this is the 90s gas station that's ever existed in history. It's really just a really 90s place. Even when he grabs the Butterfinger, all I could think of was Bart Simpson saying, "Don't lay a finger on my Butterfinger."
Yeah.
And he does lay a finger on that Butterfinger.
He lays some fingers
on it. And he takes Kristy Swanson
and uses it as a gun. Well, I want to what is the product placement? What is the marketing thinking behind Butterfinger for this movie? Like, oh yeah, use our candy bar as a gun. Like that'll get our sales up.
I'll tell you what the marketing is. So no one sees it. It's a Butterfinger. He's the only one who knows. Everyone else thinks he's got a gun, and he's just pointing it, at her back.
Mm-hmm.
So a Butterfinger feels like a gun when you can't see it, right? And it's poking you.
Yeah.
So
of course it sure does.
So after
we've all experienced that.
That's right, exactly. So after all this is done, the hapless police give him their gun. So now he does have weapons, and at this point, we're not sure that if he is a good guy. We don't know anything about him because he hasn't revealed his tragic backstory with the clown mix-up yet.
Well, this is after the gas station attendant has thrown the guns like back and forth across the floor.
Oh, this little comedic scene.
Oh, man. It took so long. It's like I'm just waiting for this kid to kick one of the guns and it shoots one of the police officers and kills him. And then, like, Sheen is going to be framed for that. Or,
well, it's a classic Saturday morning cartoon scene where he says, throw me the guns or kick me the guns. And the guy literally kicks the guns to him as hard as he can to where they just fly across the store. And it takes like another 20 minutes for him to procure the guns. And then they finally get out of the gas station. But this is why it's a good product placement for Butterfinger.
Why's that?
He shoves it in his back pocket and he sits on it for the entire duration of the movie. And then,
finally he takes it out later and it's not melted at all, right?
And then Kristy Swanson eats it like naked, like not in the wrapper. Like she's holding it like nakedly in her hands. She's not naked. The candy,
we all know
she's
that
naked later, but
chocolate would be all over your hand.
Yeah, the candy's fine. It's just perfectly rectangular, and the Butterfingery bits are encased in the chocolate.
That's the true power of the Butterfinger.
That's right. I'm watching this. I'm thinking I could rob someone with this and then eat it, and it would be perfectly
like
intact.
2 hours later.
Like how cool is that? Bart Simpson and The Chase have sold me.
I'm not gonna lie, I wanted a Butterfinger after I watched this movie.
I want one right now.
I want one right now. Can we talk about first before we move on? Can we talk about the title card for this movie? Because, like I said, been watching a lot of '90s movies, and I feel like now I'm remembering this is a staple of every '90s movies. Every 90s movie has to have giant blocky letters that zoom into the screen, make some sort of sound effect, and then they got to come at you towards the screen. But this one like is set apart because not only does it swish in with the sound effects, it explodes, and then like the black from the background of the screen explodes with it, and then we get into the gas station moment. Oh yeah, just waiting for the Kool-Aid man to bust through the wall.
I think they're banking on the fact that at this point it's 1994. Most of their intended audience has been raised by Sesame Street, and you're just primed for that. But you're older now. You're either prepubescent, pubescent, postpubescent, a grown-up, and you want more. Just the letters on the screen, just like the letter for the day is C or H or A or S or E. That's not enough anymore. You need them flying at you, making a swooshing noise and exploding. Otherwise, it just won't hold your interest. Even for a second, it won't hold your interest unless it's doing that.
It brought my mind more to like MTV music videos back in the day, because I swear parts of this, maybe all of this at some point, was a music video, because the camera, like I said, the camera does not stop moving, shaking, twisting, turning, bobbling up and down. Like, I don't know if they just didn't have a tripod or a camera rig on the car, but every moment is just fast, frenetic editing, shaking. It makes Born Identity look bad. I mean, it look good, actually.
It did remind me of I have one cousin or when we were kids, if someone was filming something, he would always rip the camera from their hands and turn it around in his face, and he was always eating, and it would just be him shaking the camera while he was violently chewing his food, and that's kind of
eating Butterfingers.
Exactly, eating Butterfingers, and that's kind of this movie in a nutshell. Yeah. Oh, wait, let me start reeling in my porn line here.
Yes.
So he takes her away in the car. And overall, I would say the acting in this movie isn't bad, but in these early scenes...
Well, not Sheen. Sheen and Swanson do an okay job.
They do, except...
Some other people are questionable.
Their banter early on in the car isn't good. And, and it is very, like, we're setting up a porn scene, like, where they're like... They're literally their bickering is, like, just really badly acted, where it's like, oh, no, and then I got mad and then pushed you and then your top fell off. And then somehow it actually kind of
goes there
45 minutes later, and they have a sex scene while he's driving.
While they're driving the car.
And I'm going to stop reeling and let the porn line stay out in the water, in the waves a little longer, because I think there's a big fish coming around in a little while that we're going to have to reel in.
Well, talking about their bickering early in the film, how many times does Kristy Swanson beg him to let her go? It gets so ridiculous and annoying at one point. I'm just like, just kick her out of the car. Like, I'm done listening to this lady.
You don't really need a hostage anymore. Like, just go.
Just get out of there. But no, he's holding on to her for collateral for, was it his insurance policy, he says.
That's what he says.
But I love how the thing that leads up to the sex in the while driving.
Well, wait.
moment-
We got to build up to that.
That's what I'm saying. We're going to build up to it because
we need a little foreplay.
Rich dad and stepmother is a big part of the plot. So she is related to Dalton Voss. He's this millionaire, billionaire, whatever, that everybody knows. And Sheen, realizes, oh no, I've kidnapped this really rich, powerful guy's daughter.
It's played by Ray Wise from Twin Peaks. So you don't want to kidnap his daughter.
No,
weird stuff will happen to you.
He's playing a tough guy in this movie. He's shouting at all the policemen and everything, and then he berates her for getting involved in this mess. He starts yelling at her over the phone when they're talking on the car phone. Again, signature '90s movie element there. But I love how Sheen is the one that has to stick up for her. And, of course, that's what leads to the romance. That's what kind of kicks it off. Because
you were mean to my daddy.
You were mean to my daddy. My dad, I'm like a little daddy's girl, but I've been waiting for somebody just to stand up to him finally. And it was, Stockholm Syndrome is now just, reared its ugly head like, 2 minutes after they've been bickering the whole time, he tells off her dad, hangs up on him, and then 10 minutes later they're having sex in the car.
That's whenever you check and say, did Riff Coogan write this?
Right.
Oh wait, no, Adam Rifkin did. Well, it was still a dude.
I think it was Riff Coogan.
I think it was Riff Coogan.
He went by Adam Rifkin for this movie, but I think it was Riff Coogan.
I think it's still the sexual ideals of Riff Coogan.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
So, yeah, they're in this car. They eventually do stop bickering and arguing.
Like pirates.
I'm trying to think if there's something deeper I was trying to say there. So they stop arguing, and you think it's called The Chase. And the poster for the movie is so serious. They're both making steely eyes at the camera. I don't know if you've seen the poster.
Yeah.
It's
you got it there?
Oh, I do. I'll turn it toward you. It's they're both making blue steel faces, right? But it's not a serious movie at all.
No.
And it's also not really a car chase movie
No.
because really most of the movie is just set in the car. He's not really driving that fast. There's not a ton of awesome car stunts. There's maybe 3 or 4 cars that get flipped over. There's kind of a bigger one near the end. But if you're the chase, cool, a car chase movie. I love car chase movies. You're not going to get what you want here.
No.
Go watch really anything else that says this is a car chase movie,
right?
And there'll probably be more than this.
Because a lot of the time,
watch the 7-Ups. That's an underrated car chase movie with an awesome car chase.
A lot of times they're just in the car, they're bickering, they're talking back and forth, and then we cut away to Henry Rollins, who's a police officer, and his partner, and for some reason they have a TV studio producer in their backseat filming them
with bloodlust
for a documentary about. What? I don't know, but he's there and he's wanting to get, gets the inside scoop on police officers, and Rollins is trying to act tough, and apparently they ad-lib most of those lines.
And he's loving it because, he had so many songs were anti-police and about police brutality, so he's just chewing up being a brutal policeman who just wants to beat the crap out of someone.
But again, you could be filling this movie with more fun action sequences, but you have I don't know, the black and white footage from the video camera in the back seat.
That's extremely shot to the extreme.
It's extreme, but they're just sitting there talking about police officers while they're on a chase.
Do you get scared on chases like this?
Yeah, we go on chases all the time.
It is scary, but it's all part of the job.
Right. But it's obviously 2 police officers who don't get a whole lot of action, and then all of a sudden they're put into action and they're trying to present themselves as if they get more action than they do, when the movie really could just give us more action instead of pretending like they get the action. But
and then we have the helicopter that's flying overhead, so we get all the footage from that.
With the news guy who is reporting on the news while he's outside of the helicopter filming the chase. How is that audio usable? That was my biggest question about this movie, because that would just be all air in his microphone, I would imagine.
Man, Adam Rifkin, I feel like that's a big logical miss for him. I feel like he really made everything else airtight, but for that one thing, he just overlooked it.
Oh man.
Yeah, so we made some comments whenever we were setting up for the show about how maybe is there a deeper meta commentary here about the media, and I feel like he wants to say something, about the media is ridiculous, and he did kind of predict the O.J. Simpson Bronco chase 3 months from now.
Yeah, we definitely need to talk about that.
Yeah, it happened 3 months after the movie was released in June of 1994.
And talking about Speed was released just a few days before the Bronco chase.
Yeah, so
both movies on the freeway, high speed stuff going on.
That's right. But see, Speed is a far better movie than The Chase.
Yes, it is.
But The Chase is alike in that there's a driver and a hostage.
Right.
And
so there's more similarity.
Yes,
there.
though the driver in the other case was the hostage. But in this movie, the driver is Charlie Sheen, and he has a hostage. But, it's being sensationalized by the media. It's being reported second by second by second.
Right. You got the guy on the news van who's attached himself to the van so he can get close to the car and get an inside exclusive or whatever. Yeah, so you've got a lot of the media stuff going on. And also, I don't know if that redeems the movie at all, though.
It's just one of those things that someone can throw in a Wikipedia entry to make it look more impressive, but when you watch it, you're like,
thematic elements, media commentary.
But when you watch it, you're like, okay, that was there.
That was there. What? Okay.
Yeah.
Henry Rollins. All right.
Why
was he in this movie?
Yeah.
Just so he could get his song at the credits, I guess.
That's right. You get some more royalties for Henry.
Get some more royalties.
Can I just say that? Moolah. You just reminded me of something awesome. So right whenever he does kidnap Kristy Swanson, not to go back too far, but this is something that carries on throughout the movie. She burns him with the cigarette lighter from the car on the neck.
That's an interesting.
Did you notice, just going along with the 90s extreme theme of the movie, that it makes it look like he has an on-off power switch on his neck, he's a machine?
Oh no, I didn't know. I was just thinking,
that switch the whole movie.
I was just thinking that
neck.
Cigarette burn is still there, man. It's just they kept that consistent throughout.
Yeah, well, when they start getting sexier with each other, she starts licking her fingers and wiping at it. Just to kind of build up to the sex scene.
Oh no, man.
Which. How much more stuff do we have to talk about before we get there?
Let's get it. I think we're already there.
This fish is pulling on my line.
Right.
I'm going to start reeling. So they're starting to have some pretty amorous feelings for each other. They've been cooped up in this car for a whole hour now.
Oh, no.
I mean, and, he's taking her hostage.
Just can't take the sexual tension anymore.
That's right. That'll get anybody
That's
in love
some quick acting
with
Stockholm Syndrome, man.
That's right. So, you know what? She makes the first move. He's just kind of driving. He's just kind of thinking am I going to get lucky while I drive? I can't stop driving.
I can't stop you. Yeah. I mean,
there's policemen all around me.
I guess.
We'll try this.
Let's try it. See. No, I remember I had a false memory about that scene because I always knew, okay, it's famous for the sex in the car scene, but I remembered it being in the backseat of a cop car. Maybe the Chili Peppers were involved, maybe they were the drivers or something. I think my mind was just trying to fill the logical gaps of how would you drive a car on the freeway whilst having sex? I mean, I haven't. I don't know if you have.
Not while driving.
Not while driving. Oh yeah. We don't need to go
other cars on the road.
Oh, okay.
So no. So he's driving. He's doing 65. He's surrounded by police. The car's being filmed. People were filming inside the car.
Yeah.
There's a helicopter above them.
Somehow this doesn't make it onto the news.
Yeah, somehow this missed it, which you
I never
this
saw
would be the
that
number one thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, somehow, and it's funny too. So when she initiates, and then when they start working on figuring out which position they're going to get in. Mm-hmm. By the way, this is a PG-13 film.
Yeah,
so I want to throw that out there. It's not
show anything.
Yeah, this isn't a hardcore sex scene, even though this is an Adam Rifkin joint, not a Rifkin joint.
Adam Rifkin joint. So, yeah, she's still got her bra on.
Yeah, she's got everything on pretty much.
But then it literally
they both do.
It literally becomes a music video at that moment.
The sun just is
the
set.
Sun,
the sun sets.
The sun sets.
It was blue sky to sunset.
Right. There's porno music in the background.
And I feel like it was always there. It's just turned up.
They just turned it up. It's always on the track. All right, turn it up right here, Bob. Here we go. Here's the porno music video, PG-13 version. But it's yeah.
And her body keeps because they never really it slow fades out before they can really get into some too hot action.
Yeah,
but
it just kind of goes nowhere.
Her torso keeps blocking his vision, and he's swerving. And Henry Rollins is what the hell's he doing up there?
Why are they swerving so much?
But they never really explain how he can see and drive while this is going on.
That's what I want to know.
We never get a visual representation of how they don't die. So maybe they do die, and the rest of the movie takes place in some type of heavenly realm or purgatory or hell.
Maybe the sex was just all in their minds. Talking about the psychic elements there, because it does cut away to that sunset as they're driving, and it's got the music. It's very fantastical moment, oh down, it's getting there. And that's a pretty bold choice for Rifkin, I have to say. I mean, just kind of detaching itself from the reality of the car chase there and just going elsewhere. Yeah.
But then it's dark after, so I think it really happened.
It did happen.
I think it was real.
Who are we kidding? We don't want to undo that.
They definitely have an afterglow, like for the rest of the movie, right? Oh, and guess what though? We got so hyped up on the sex stuff that we totally forgot about the.
We're like 12-year-old boys.
Yeah, that's right. We forgot about
sex in the car.
We forgot about the band that had some sex with sex, the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And their two cast members. They're cast members.
They're driving.
Oh, that shows you my view on the Red Hot Chili Peppers. No, they've got some good songs.
Yeah,
hey, let's talk about their little scene that they get in this movie.
I think they're the best part of this movie, honestly. They're so much fun, and they're obviously just hamming it up, having a good time. You got Ketis and Flea playing Will and Dale, and they're just, I don't know, they're driving a monster truck. They're acting really, like, redneck. They're acting really over the top. And I guess their plan is to ram the car off the road.
Let's be heroes, man.
Yeah, dude. Like, I just love Flea especially. Just like, so ridiculous. And they get arrested on TV after they've totally crashed their car. And then after an 18-wheeler has smashed into it and it explodes like 18 times.
That's the best part. So I do feel like at this point, Rifkin was like, well, man, I actually haven't really had too much action in this movie. And It's called The Chase, and I haven't had any explosions.
That's why I need to show the same explosion in slow-mo over and over from different angles.
And I love the delay of, like, they run out of the truck and, like, 45 seconds later, there's not leaking gasoline or anything. It just, the truck decides to explode. It's like it can't go on without the two of them inside of it. We coexist. Without you, I'm nothing.
It has to explode.
So that happens before the sex scene, but we had to talk about it. But
and I wanted to say how many 18-wheelers are in this movie, because I feel like they're dodging one every 5 seconds.
Is it just the same 18-wheeler though? Because he never really goes that fast.
Well, it's either an 18-wheeler or a moving truck or some sort of big van. It's like, oh no, watch out, especially early on in the film when they're trying to get onto the freeway. It's just like, I turned the corner, there's a giant truck coming at me. Like, what world do you exist
Always. In? It made me want to play a great late 90s game, which is also 90s to the extreme, Crazy Taxi.
Oh, yeah, I remember Crazy Taxi.
So good. It was an arcade game that got ported to the Dreamcast. And it has the attitude of this movie. It's got Offspring and Bad Religion, which we haven't talked about the soundtrack yet, but this movie has a great punk soundtrack. It's even got NoFX in the end credits.
I didn't recognize that.
Yeah, it has Please Play the Song on the Radio, which when I heard it, I had to do a double take. I could not believe they actually got, because that song is ridiculous, but it's like mission accomplished. We got in a major Hollywood movie.
Right. Because I heard the Rollins band at the end. I was like, okay, there's Henry. But I don't know if I recognize anything else from the soundtrack. So
damn millennial.
Hey, you're a millennial too, technically.
No.
Come with me into the 2000s.
No. I'm straddling the line between Gen X and millennial.
Yeah.
I'm doing a split, and it hurts. It hurts so bad. Nobody wants me.
I kind of like NoFX, so I wish I would have recognized or heard them, and I didn't, I guess, watch the credits all the way through. I was just like, all right, I'm done.
And,
mission accomplished.
In your defense, since it is like, please play this song on the radio, it's kind of for them a joke song, and it not that a lot of their songs are joke songs, but it doesn't sound like a lot of their other songs.
Right.
But it was one of their more recognizable ones for me.
So they get to Mexico, and their plan is to go off together. She's really into it at this point.
They finally made it there after a movie's worth of driving.
After a movie's worth, like had to show the explosions a couple of times, like tease this out. Oh, I've got a feature film on my hands, guys. So he's just kind of fill in some stuff until they get to Mexico. Sex in the car, all that's gone down. And then once they get there, they're roadblock. They've got to back up and then drive off road into Mexico, I'm guessing. And then Charlie Sheen at this point just kind of gives up. He says he doesn't want to ruin her life. A little romantic turn there. He's going to give himself in because he doesn't want to screw up her life.
You're going to have my baby.
But
not really. That doesn't happen.
But then Kristy Swanson, in full Stockholm Syndrome mode, she's become the kidnapper now. She grabs a gun, kidnaps the TV producer from the back of Rollins' car. She shoots a helicopter, which then explodes because the 90s. And then she takes off. They take off on another helicopter and live large, sipping drinks on a beach at the end.
Yeah, that's the end. So they get to the border. They stop the car. That happens. Movie's over.
Right.
So if you're expecting like an insane like final action sequence, you don't get that.
No.
Though you do get a fake out ending where before Kristy Swanson takes charge and becomes the kidnapper herself, Charlie Sheen thinks of going out in a blaze of glory, and we see him get out of the car and act like he's going for the gun, which he's actually not even doing in his imagination, because he's such the victim. Like even in his imagination, he can't pull a gun
the whole time. In the movie, he's like, "Why is this happening to me?
Why is this happening to
everything
me?
bad happens to me?
Oh,
man.
to Charlie Sheen, he never does anything wrong,
man."
And then
someone stole my Coke. Where's my Coke?
Where's my Coke? So in the fantasy, the police Henry Rollins has been wanting to shoot him this whole time.
Oh, yeah.
And it's funny. So he does
he
about a million times
in the
fantasy, but in real life, he really wants to even more than in the fantasy. And he's like, just give me a reason. Just give me a reason,
you, man.
But it doesn't happen because
why was
Kristy
any of
Swanson,
that in the movie again? Like
because
why
Henry Rollins wants to make a statement about the police.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Their brutality, I guess.
This movie just is, man. I feel like Ron Rifkin's a good actor. Adam Rifkin is just a creation of the 90s. Like I feel like it just created him.
He's another algorithm.
It just belched him out.
Yes.
And this is what you got. Like this is a what's the drink called? I was going to say Slurm.
Surge?
Yeah, Surge. Yeah, Futurama ruined Surge for me because I always want to say Slurm instead. Yeah,
Slurge.
This is like a Slurge. Still can't say it. This is a Surge belch. The chase is a Surge belch. Even though Surge hadn't quite come out yet by this point. It's like Surge belch this movie out. It's kind of a tangy, sticky belch.
Adam Rifkin belched and this movie came out.
Yeah, but it's dumb fun. I mean,
dumb fun.
When I watch, because it's quick. It's like just a little over 90 minutes. I was never like, this crap has to get over with. I got better things to do. I enjoyed it while I watched it. It was just stupid. But it wasn't like offensively stupid.
Right. It wasn't. I was remembering this, like I said, setting this up last episode. I was remembering this, really fun action comedy movie. I was like, it could be terrible or it could be really fun. I felt like the bane of it is that it just wasn't really either. Like it wasn't so bad that it was funny or good, and it wasn't like, actually fun and like, again, we're going to get into Speed, but something like that's just like goofy, but also really well made. This is kind of a forgotten gem, and I feel like it's deservedly so. It's just kind of like a forgotten early 90s movie with Sheen.
I totally forgot because I was telling you this earlier. I was not a Charlie Sheen fan in the 90s. I just didn't like him. I thought he just seemed really sleazy to me. Mm-hmm. The movies that he did, even like Major League, which a lot of my friends liked. I just for some reason
liking that.
I just couldn't get into it. I just didn't like the dude. And like,
I can understand that. He's kind of got like a sleaze to him.
Yeah,
even before he was busted for coke and everything.
Yeah, and all the other stuff and his winning and Tiger Blood stuff. Yeah, right. And then what else did he do? Like even Hot Shots. Like it was funny, but I didn't like him. Like I thought the movie was funny. But I was like, God,
I was never like, I'm a Charlie Sheen fan. Like I would still watch his movies, but I don't think I was ever like really rooting or like waiting for the next Charlie Sheen movie.
Yeah, and I just remember kind of growing up, in a really rural area, but like not far from obviously the capital city that we're in here now, and the fine Baton Rouge,
the Red Stick.
Yeah, that's right, where the movie theater is. So being in a rural area that's only like 40 minutes from a city, people went to the movies, but then we'd be out in the country for most of the week talking about whatever everybody saw over the weekend. So
he was good in Three Musketeers. I will say that.
It was all right.
Charismatic.
I remember he was in Navy SEALs. That was another one from the early 90s. A lot of my friends liked. He was he was pretty good in The Arrival. I remember that movie. People talked it up too much for me. Mm-hmm. I can't remember what they were saying. It was better than. No, it was The Arrival's way better than Independence Day, which is like the awesomest, stupid 90s movie. It's so inspiring and it's dumb, but I love it. It's awesome.
It fits the bill for sure.
Yeah, and people were like, one person, really. It was one person said, "No, man, The Arrival's way better than that. It's so much better." And they got me all hyped up, and then it wasn't even close.
No.
But Charlie Sheen was actually good in that one. I liked him in that.
You know what my favorite Charlie Sheen movie is?
All Dogs Go to Heaven too.
Yeah, they couldn't get Burt Reynolds back for that, so they had to get Charlie Sheen. No, it was, you remember Money Talks with Chris Tucker?
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever see that?
That was a good one.
That was
But
good.
I like Chris Tucker. I just kind of tolerated Charlie Sheen.
That's true. It is really all about Chris Tucker. But Sheen was still, like, he played like a good foil to Chris Tucker in that movie. It was fun. And I still quote that movie. I'll still say stuff like, same time, man, say time. And I bet nobody knows what I'm talking about. But that lines from that movie still stick in my brain.
And then, it's contemporary film from the late 90s, Nothing to Lose, with Martin and Tim Robbins.
Yes.
I like that one, too.
That's kind of like a sister or brother film to that one. Because you got you got Martin, and then you got Tim Robbins, you got Charlie Sheen, you got Chris Tucker.
They kind of marketed them against each other. It was like the volcano and Dante's Peak, or what else do we have? Deep Impact and Armageddon. They're like, here's our late 90s interracial buddy comedy for you.
Interracial budding comedy. Yeah, that's basically what that was. Or you had remember that Damon Wayans and Adam Sandler.
But that was like the
Bulletproof.
Bulletproof. That was like not. It was like kind of the B movie version of those other two for me. Did you see Bulletproof?
Oh yeah, I loved it. Yeah.
Oh, of course you did. Of course you did.
Yeah, of course, because I was all into Adam Sandler growing up.
Nice. What were we even talking about? What was this podcast on?
The Chase.
The Chase. Yeah, with Charlie Sheen. So I wasn't big on Sheen, but I do remember one. My only memory of this movie is that one like really sleazy kid from my class saw it, and he was like, "Dude, I saw The Chase this weekend. The chick in it was so fine, man." And that was it. That was all I heard about The Chase until you told me.
The chick in it was so fine.
That was all
She got naked and had sex with Charlie Sheen in a car.
No, that's it. He just said the first sentence. That was all.
That was
in 1994, like spring of '94. I heard that.
I'm ad-libbing for him. Honestly.
Yeah, he didn't talk as much as you just did. I think that was the only time you talked to me.
That's the only time
in 12 years of school.
Just about this random movie from '94.
I was like, what? Who are you?
I did want to mention that Charlie Sheen, this is insane, made 3 movies in '94, made 5 movies in '93. That's a lot of coke. Before we knew anything about his drug problems, to make that many movies in a short amount of time, man, he must have been doing some heavy lifting there with his nose.
That's crazy. Man,
that is insane.
That's nuts.
Did I go too far with the coke joke there? I feel like I turned you off.
I was looking to see what movies he did in '94.
I can tell you. So let's see. He did, all right, so '93 he did Loaded Weapon 1, Beyond the Law, Hot Shots Part 2, Deadfall, Three Musketeers, and then '94 he did The Chase, Major League 2, and Terminal Velocity, which I seem to remember Terminal Velocity. I think I've seen that, but I don't remember anything about it.
I always get that mixed up with what was the one that Steven Seagal was only in like the first 5 minutes and then he dies, which automatically won me over. And I was like, "Oh, this is so good."
Because I tried not to see any Steven Seagal movies like growing up my whole life. But
Kurt Russell was in it though, and I love Kurt Russell. I watched it because he was in it, and I was like, I guess I'll watch it even though Steven Seagal's in it. And then he just dies.
Yeah.
And I feel like I thought that was Terminal Velocity, but it's not. It's Executive Decision.
Oh, Executive Decision. Yeah.
Which has some of the worst model work I've ever seen at the end of the movie. I'm going to make you watch that at some point.
Okay.
But not now. Let's put that off.
Let's put that off. I did want to mention, too, that Charlie Sheen and Kristy Swanson starred in 3 movies together. So Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Charlie at that point was really young, but he was just like a kid, like a extra basically in that movie, and then Hot Shots, they were both in Hot Shots together, and then The Chase. So
yeah, when your dad's Martin Sheen, it might be a little easier to get.
It's easy to get in the yeah,
probably easier than you or I. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I don't know.
The 80s podcast and comedy and fun times. Go listen to Great Times, Good Movies. They cover Mannequin, and then Mannequin on the Move is the second movie with Kristy Swanson. And this is about a young department store intern falls in love with a female store mannequin played by Swanson, who is really a peasant girl fallen under a 1,000-year spell Like, what?
I'm just going to say, my dad and I watched a lot of movies together. My dad was flipping channels one time, and he just happened to catch that one at the beginning. And I'm pretty sure he saw Kristy Swanson, was like, let's watch this. So we watched it, and it was so bad. We were laughing hysterically the whole time. We were just dying at how awful it was, to the point to where we saw the first mannequin was coming on and neither one of us had seen it, and we got all pumped up to watch it, and then it was just kind of okay, and we were bummed out, like, oh man, it's just a normal movie.
I wish this was terrible.
Why isn't it bad?
Nice. All right, so let's move into our 1994 trivia battle.
That's right, I'm sick of chasing you. I'm ready to catch you.
So you lost last time.
All the times, basically.
You lost last time, so I'll let you go first this time with your question. So we've each prepared some questions themed around 94, so give me your best shot.
Let's do it.
Pop quiz, hot shot.
Nice. Speed's so good. In The Chase, our main characters make the drive from Newport Beach, California to the San Ysidro point of entry, a total distance of...
What?
A, 103 miles, B, 138 miles, C, 166 miles, D, 197 miles.
This is not fair. This is supposed to be movie trivia. What is happening here? You know, answer your geography question.
This is very fair, based on the movie.
Okay, what were the options again?
A, 103 miles, B, 138 miles, C, 166 miles, D, 197 miles.
I'm going to go with C.
Wrong. 103 miles.
What?
Here's the thing.
What? Did they say it in the movie?
I don't know if they directly reference it, but it's the exact amount of time that it takes to drive from that location to the other at the rate that he was driving is how long the movie is.
Oh, okay.
It's like the secret hint.
I guess I should have known
the
that.
secret hint that Adam Rifkin is actually a genius. And you
director.
and I miss so much about this movie. Obviously, that proves it's a work of genius.
Yes.
And we're going to have to revisit it at some
all
point.
Shot in real time. This was really directed by Richard Linklater.
That's right. Sorry, buddy.
All right. So I lost. So if you get this one right, I'm watching one of your terrible movies.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So let me look for a really hard one then.
You just can't stand to lose, can you?
Okay. Which of these actors / actresses had the same first name in two 1994 movies? A, Sandra Bullock, B, Jim Carrey, C, Jeff Daniels, or D, Tom Hanks?
Ooh.
So they were in two movies in 94, and they had the same first name.
Let's see. Man, I wish I could remember Jeff Daniels' name from Speed. Let's see. In Dumb and Dumber, he was Lloyd. I don't think he was Lloyd in Speed. Let's see. Tom Hanks was Forrest in Forrest Gump. I don't think he would be Forrest in two movies. All right. Well, Sandra Bullock and who else?
Sandra Bullock and Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey. Let's see. Harry in Dumb and Dumber. Let's see. What else would he have been in? Could he have been Harry twice? I think it's A or B. I want to beat you so badly. I can taste it. Oh, but I can't remember what else Sandra Bullock was in that year. And I'm going to second guess myself. I need to flip a coin. I'm just going to go with B.
B, Jim Carrey?
Yeah.
Wrong.
It was A.
It was Jeff Daniels. He was actually Harry in Dumb and Dumber and Harry in Speed.
Oh, dang.
Yes.
My sister's going to be so disappointed in me.
So we move on. Ask me another question.
All right. The highly popular show Friends premiered in 1994. What 1994 film did Friends star Matt LeBlanc also appear in? A, Lookin' Italian. B, Ed. C, Dangerous Minds. D, The Substitute.
What was the first one?
Lookin' Italian.
Was it Lookin' Italian?
Yes.
All right.
Jerk.
All right, so I get to ask you another one. If you lose, that I win.
Oh, man, because there was another question I wanted to ask you that I didn't. I didn't mean to ask you the Matt LeBlanc one so early. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right, so here we go. Which movie from 94 is this line of dialogue from? I've got gum on my seat. Gum. Was it A, Forrest Gump, B, Renaissance Man, C, Speed, or D, Reality Bites?
C, Speed.
Ah, you got it.
Yeah.
I kind of figured you'd give that one. So.
Yes.
Nice.
All right.
You get to move on. So ask me another one.
I want to ask you this question really badly. And if you miss it,
I'm done.
and I get the net,
I think if I miss it, I'm just done.
Oh, okay, nice. If you miss it, I'm going to make you watch the movie.
What movie? Oh, the movie that's the answer?
Yeah.
Okay. That'll be fitting.
Three Ninjas Kick Back is chronologically which film in the Three Ninjas saga? A, 1, B, 4, C, 2, D, 3.
3.
Yes. God dog it, how'd you know that?
I just know my Three Ninjas trivia.
Oh.
Because I knew it came out in 94. Well, obviously, because that's our theme. But
you jerk.
Yeah. All right. So, next question.
I'm going to lose again. I can taste it.
The music of what artist group was extremely popular during Forrest Gump's time period that it was set during, and it was included more than any other band in the movie? Name that band or artist group. Was it Simon and Garfunkel, Bob Dylan, Leonard Skinner, or The Doors?
So let's see. You've got... All right, what was B?
Bob Dylan.
All right, so she sings Blowin' in the Wind when she's on stage. Ginny does. What was C?
Leonard Skinner.
And I have mixed feelings about this movie, but I've seen it a decent amount of times. Leonard Skinner. So Freebird is playing when she goes up on the balcony, and thinks about jumping off of it. And then D was...
The Doors.
The Doors. I know that The Doors are in the movie, too. This is a stupid question.
Because you don't know it.
It's like... Would you look at the soundtrack and count how many times everyone was on?
This was just a trivia question I found online. Apparently, this band had like 6 different
my guess was going to be Creedence.
They are also on the soundtrack.
All right, let's see. Give me my choices one more time.
Simon and Garfunkel, Bob Dylan, Leonard Skinner, or The Doors.
Let's go with The Doors.
You got it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh man.
So you got to ask me one more.
Yeah. I have 2 more questions written. Okay. The famous O.J. Simpson Bronco chase happened just 3 months after the release of the chase. Who was Simpson's driver? A. Al Cowlings. B. Willie Brooks. C. Marcus Allen. D. Cato Kalin.
Willie Brooks?
No, Al Cowlings.
Al Cowlins?
Cowlings.
Al Cowlings?
Al Cowlings.
Okay. I don't know. Willie Brooks sounded familiar to me. I thought that's what it was.
But I think you have to ask me another question, right? Because didn't I start?
Yeah, but I thought we played where whoever lost first, like you're done.
Okay, fine. You're done then.
All right. I mean, I could ask you another question.
No.
You want me to just shoot it to you just for fun?
Yeah, for fun. For
All
funsies.
Right. Well, which of these Oscars was Pulp Fiction not nominated for? Was it A, Best Picture, B, Best Director, C, Best Actress, or D, Best Actor?
Oh. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
What was the first choice? Best Picture?
Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actress, or Best Actor?
I want to say B. That's what my gut's saying, but common sense says C. Let me just go with C.
Best Actress?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
you
nice.
got it.
All right.
She was...
so I really do win trivia.
You really do win.
Whoa.
What? Snap.
Unbelievable.
No, Uma Thurman was nominated for Best Supporting Actress, but they didn't give a Best Actress nomination to this film, I guess because she doesn't have enough screen time. So
she's only in it for a bit.
Yeah, so there was no Best Actress person to fit that bill for that movie.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. Have you seen Super Mario Brothers?
Oh, God. I have.
How long has it been?
A long time.
Can you remember it very well?
No.
Because let me make this announcement.
I know it's terrible. I don't want to watch it.
I was going to make you watch Three Ninjas Kick Back, but
nice.
I just realized something incredible.
That Super Mario Brothers would be a far worse punishment.
Well, our next film is going to be Total Recall. That's my pick. I have never seen this movie. It came out in the window of I was too young to watch it in 1990. And whenever I was old enough to watch it, I was like, well, there's other stuff out now that's rated R that I'm more interested in. And I just never got around to watching it.
I feel you.
And I'm ready now.
You're ready.
It needs to happen.
You're ready for the Schwarzenegger on Mars.
That's right. But you know what would pair really well with that?
What?
Mario and Luigi in some weird dystopian S&M future. So you're watching Super Mario Brothers, buddy.
Oh, God. What have I done?
You lost.
Asked you the harder questions. No.
Yes.
You're so pumped up. So next movie, Total Recall. Nick, how will we connect the chase to Total Recall? I guess we'll have to find out.
Oh, yeah.
On the next episode.
If someone can figure this one out, I'm going to be impressed.
Yeah,
Because it took me a long time.
I want to hear somebody write in and tell us how we're going to connect the chase. I don't know. You're going to tell me next time, I guess, or maybe after we finish recording this.
I might make you wait, buddy.
You're going to make me wait. Well, I want to hear somebody write in and tell us what the connection between the chase and Total Recall is for this 90s movie podcast. So you can email us at filmshakepodcast@gmail.com. Again, if you haven't subscribed already, check us out on Apple Podcast or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. You can go to our website to see all our episodes at filmshake.buzzsprout.com. You can find Nick on the Twitter at Nicksperiment or his blog, thenicksperiment.blogspot.com. Find Filmshake on Facebook. Wherever you want to get into it, we're there. We're all over the place. So
Google us.
Google it. So next up will be Total Recall from 1990, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sharon Stone. And, I wanted to read the synopsis of this movie because I think it was hilarious. When a man goes for virtual vacation memories of the planet Mars, an unexpected and harrowing series of events forces him to go to the planet for real. Or does he?
Or does he?
Or does he?
Plus, Jordan will be recapping Super Mario Brothers.
Yep. Sorry, guys. I'll have to talk about that movie. I'll have to watch that movie.
I'm so happy for you, buddy.
Yeah, I will. Well, thank you guys for listening. It's been fun. We'll see you next time for more Film Shake.
Happy holidays. Take it easy. You millennial bastard.